He dropped his hand and stood staring at the highly polished brass knocker. A couple of minutes went by. He listened to the cars and buses passing in the road behind him. He wondered whether the encounter would have gone quite so badly if it had been Steve Nisbet on the step. Karim was on the point of ringing the bell again when the door opened. A thin man, in what he thought of as a priest's uniform of dog collar, cassock, and crucifix on a chain, peered at him through gold-rimmed granny glasses, a shock of black hair falling across his forehead. Hollow cheeks, a bony jaw, and a sharp nose reminded him of a friend of his father's, Zahid, who believed he was fated to live an ascetic life because that was the meaning of his given name. "You're a policeman, Mrs. Grimes tells me." "Father Keenan." "Well, of course. Who else would it be in Father Keenan's house, dressed like this?" His voice was a light tenor, his tone sarcastic, his accent faintly Irish. Karim introduced himself again and proffered his ID. "What does the regional what's-it want with me? I'm just an ordinary parish priest." Keenan frowned, 3 deep parallel lines between his eyebrows. "I'd like to talk to you about your time as resident chaplain at the Order of the Blessed Pearl in Bradesden. I'm sure you've seen the news coverage today." Keenan cocked his head to one side like a puzzled hen. "What news coverage? I've got better things to do with my time than watch TV." "If I could come in," Karim took a step forward. "This isn't something we should discuss on the pavement, Mr. Keenan." "It's Father Keenan, son." He sighed and stepped back. "You can come in, but keep it brief. I've got parishioners to visit, letters to write." He led the way down a hall whose parquet flooring smelled of lavender polish into a small room. A sofa and a pair of upright chairs sat around a low table. The walls were painted a soft green. A crucifix hung over a simple wooden fireplace with a fake coal gas fire. A pair of faded reproductions of Italian Renaissance paintings were the only other decoration. Karim had no idea what they represented, except that one of the figures had wings, and so was presumably an angel. The priest sat on one of the chairs and primly crossed one leg over the other, gesturing to Karim that he should be seated. "So now, presumably, you can tell me what this visit is in aid of." "I'd like to establish some background information before I go into the details," Karim said, phone at the ready. "I'd prefer to record our conversation. It's more reliable than notes, and it's always better to be accurate." He produced his most winning smile. He'd spent long enough with Paula to have picked up 1 or 2 of her tricks. He pressed the red record button as inconspicuously as he could. "What kind of background information?" Keenan wasn't making this easy. "How long were you the resident chaplain at the convent in Bradesden?" He gave a long-suffering sigh, a man used to tedium. "I was there for 5 years and 7 months, right up until the closure of the convent and the refuge." "And were you also responsible for the spiritual well-being of the girls in the St. Margaret Clitheroe refuge?" Karim wasn't sure if that was the right expression, but he'd heard it in TV dramas and films. "I was." "What did that consist of, exactly?" Keenan rolled his eyes. "The usual duties of a priest. But I suppose you know nothing of that, Constable. I took services in the chapel. I heard confession. I engaged in spiritual discussion with the Mother Superior. Where the girls were concerned, I also prepared them for their first communion, and I gave them religious instruction within a school context. I can assure you there was nothing untoward in my interactions at the Blessed Pearl." His voice was haughty, but now he was confident in his superiority. His posture relaxed a little. "As you rightly say, I don't know how things work in the priesthood. How did you come to be the priest at the Blessed Pearl? Did you apply for the job?" Keenan screwed up his face in disdain. "The priesthood is a vocation, not a job. We go where we are sent. My bishop sent me to the Blessed Pearl, and so it was my duty to work with the